Using AI is a lot like building for anything else, fixing anything else. Have the right tool for the right job, but there's some nuance there. A friend of mine recently here, AI field notes, I'll try to remember to tag him below, it brought up completely unrelated to AI, his favorite writing implement. It kind of got me thinking. I have certain favored writing implements. I also have this handy thing I put together a while back. My writing implement carrying case organized. And the reason I bring this up, how it relates to AI, everyone's always chasing what's the best tool. And right now, using something like Claude or Claude Code or ChatGPT or Codex, even Gemini or Grok, they all have their place. They all have their specialties right now. Next week, that could change. So they all have their own specialties. They all have their ways they should be used. The right tools for the right job, right? This is a Pentel P500.05 mechanical pencil. It is a drafting pencil. It is to be used for drafting. This is my favorite writing implement. Right tool for the right job can vary based on who's using it. And sometimes we have to make do with what's available. Have I in the past used a hammer to put a screw into a 2x4? Yeah, when I've had to. Have I often at work been required to fit square pegs into round holes? Yep. Have I managed to do it? Yeah. Do I have different colored highlighters for different purposes? This is wrong. Where's the research for this? Be sure to highlight this or add a graphic call out. Yes, the way that works together is that I have tools, and a lot of times people ask to borrow something to write with. Well, what are you doing with it? And it seems silly, but I wouldn't recommend you use a Bic pen to write on a package. I'd say, here, use a Sharpie. I wouldn't recommend that you use a Pentel Precise to write out a check, but I do have pens specifically made to fill out checks that are actually proven to be tamper and forge resistant. But sometimes in a pinch, you can make do with what you've got. But if you have a wide variety of implements at your disposal, you have a lot of options. And that's how I try to use AI. I don't lock myself into a single tool. And I do recommend anyone who's going to be building and using these tools on a regular basis also have a variety of tools. I can use that drafting pencil to write, and it works perfectly for me. And I can use a non agentic workflow to handle a playbook at work, and it works perfectly for me. I can also make something agentic that someone else needs to not be agentic. So there's different ways we can use these tools based on our own needs and our own skill set. And there's so many different reasons that different tools are going to work for us. It's the way we see things, the way we have to get them working in a certain way, the way our brain is going to go ahead and facilitate this work. The reality is that yes, there's the right tool for the right job, but when you add an individual into that, sometimes the tool switches. And it was AI Field Notes talking about what works very well for him, and he'll recommend it in any case. Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes it's hands down. Yeah, go ahead, use this to do it. With my friends and colleagues online, I'm often sharing things that are very specific. And it's like, hey, you know what? I've already built that using Claude, or I've already built that using the custom GPT. They may find a very different way to build it and maintain it, and there's no problem with that. But if all you have is a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. And if all you have is a single AI tool, you're hamstringing yourself. Everything becomes a nail. On the one hand, you are learning how to make things work that maybe that AI platform isn't really good at, which is a skill and a muscle to develop and to build. Or you could be more productive and more efficient experimenting and doing things with different systems. I do use ChatGPT for things most people say do that in Claude, and I use Claude for things a lot of people say do that in Codex. Sometimes I'm just more comfortable doing it a specific way and I can get it to work without issue or without additional issue, I should say. There's always going to be issues dealing with these early AI models. Explore and expand your toolbox. Test out what works for you. Don't just rely on current best practice or current recommended steps, especially in this field because they're changing so fast. Find ways that work for you and continually test and iterate upon those. Sometimes it may require a rebuild, and that's okay because you've already done the beginning groundwork.